If I'm not mistaken, Barry Odom was on the sideline for most or all the game the other day.
Yeah.
What went into that decision? Will it stay there?
I don't know, Tom. I'm not positive. We just felt like with where we're at, injury wise back there and things of that nature, we just felt like we needed him down there to inspire, coach on the sideline, face to face, things of that nature. So I don't know if it will or not. Could this week again, just simply because we're there's a possibility we might play some young kids, and so and we've got Coach Bowman back there as well, Tom. But we might do it again. I don't know.
Okay. Hey, on the short yardage stuff the other day, a bunch of different backs got shots at it. Rocket did, Dominic, Rashad. Were those hey, who can get it in there? Or were those specific plays kind of meant for those guys?
No, I think we were going to leave Dominique in there on the second one, and then we just we didn't feel good with the way that we attacked the play, so we put another running back in there.
Gotcha. And then the time you said you'd mentioned you'd been by the BYU stadium, do you recall what you were out there for? What was going on?
I think I might have been out there recruiting. It may have been. I can't remember how far Provo is from Dixie, Utah, but I know I went out in recruiting to see the national championship game out there, and Garden City was playing, and I think we were recruiting somebody from, I think it was Dixie playing Garden City, actually, if I remember correctly. And I may have just drove up. I can't remember how far it is. I didn't if it's a lengthy drive, but I may have drove up there just to see the stadium, see the campus at that point. I can't remember, to be honest with you, but I think that would be the case. Or it might have been when I was recruiting one of those kids around that area that I just drove by the stadium.
Right. Yeah, Coach, with it being a place that you haven't been before, I know you don't do like the pregame stuff or the walkthrough stuff in the stadium, but is there anything that you do differently as far as travel for this game versus what you've done for other road trips?
We haven't planned that. We've shown them pictures of the stadium and talked to them about, when we get off the bus, and that it's a big time environment and things of that nature, but really no plans different than normal.
I don't think you've talked about Quincy McAdoo at cornerback yet. I know you talked about Bakke because it was last week. So how did that process unfold, and is he moving back or after?
We can't get healthy, Trey. So, we're trying to, sort of like when you're in high school ball, you go over there and look at your roster, you go down the hall and say, hey, what are you doing this afternoon, type deal. And Quincy's played it in high school. And really, to be honest with you, Trey, he hurt his hand, and he wouldn't do us a whole lot of good at receiver because of the hand situation. And at least we believe he could tackle, still with a slight wrap on his hand. And he actually came to us once we moved Bakke. Quincy came to us and said, Coach, if you need some help on defense, I'd be more than happy as soon as I get cleared to go to practice to move over. And to be honest with you, he's a natural over there. I mean, he's a really good receiver, but he looks great over there, and they've spent a lot of time meeting with him. If that gives you any indication of what we think that he could do over there, a lot of extra time. Matter of fact, I just saw him down the hallway. He came in for some extra meetings, so they think a lot of him, and that's how it happened.
Do you expect him to stay there, or is it just kind of going to be see where it goes?
I think for him and Bakke both, we gave them the opportunity to go back in the spring to wide receiver if that's what they choose. We'll just let the kids, we'll obviously encourage one way or the other, but we'll let the kids decide what they want to do once spring. But they'll both be over to the secondary for the remainder of the year.
Thanks, Coach.
Scotty?
Yeah, Sam, Bryce Stevens had a big touchdown catch for you last week. I'm curious what you like about him as a playmaker and if he's kind of positioned himself to increase his role moving forward.
I don't know about the increase yet, but I would assume the answer would be yes. I think you play kids that have shown you that they can compete and do well, and certainly that catch, that was a big-time catch. I think where Bryce's confidence has been coming from is from the punt returns. He's catching the ball better. I think if there was any type of, I don't know about him, it would be just his catchability, his consistency at catching the football. Certainly that's been erased, but I think a lot of that has to do with the confidence he's had with catching punts. And so he's certainly moved up in our mind of guys that we would put in earlier in the game. And of course, he earned that, I felt like, on Saturday as well. I don't know. Is that the only question you asked, or?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And I wanted to ask you about Dalton Wagner too, been around the program for a long time. I guess just what kind of growth have you seen from him the 3 years you've had him?
When I first saw him, I thought he was, before I got to know him, I just thought he was a great big guy that was kind of stiff and things of that nature. And man, I don't think that anymore. I think he's a really fine player. I think he's going to have an opportunity to play in the NFL, tougher than tough. A guy that the kids look up to. He certainly has gotten a lot better. He's bending better. He's much stronger than he was. But I will say this: you win a lot of games with him because he's a good player, A, and B, he's tough and cares. And he's a great kid to have on the football team.
Just lastly, have you been kind of impressed with his durability maybe this year? Because I know in camp maybe there were some questions about his health and being able to get all the way through the season healthy.
Well, he's always a little beat up, I think like a lot of linemen are. But it has been impressive because he's played the majority of snaps this season. And, it was a back issue, before. And early in my career here, he really couldn't play a whole bunch of snaps consecutively, but he has this year, and I attribute that to the weight room, his hard work. But yeah, knock on wood, he's done a great job this year.
Bob?
Hey Sam, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, I talked to Kaden Hawes this week, and he mentioned, he'd come up to UA camps when he was at Pulaski Academy. He was a center,
Yeah.
and he spoke very highly of you. He said he didn't get offered, but he was glad to be at BYU. Met his wife; they're very happy. But I was just wondering maybe what you remember about him, and if you see him on film, number 95 nose guard, what maybe?
Yeah, I know who he is, but I can't remember him out of high school, unfortunately. I sure wish I could have, but I can't remember him. He is a strong guy that runs well, can shed blocks. I like him. I think he's a good player. I don't know if we would. I don't know that we offered him or not back then. I can't remember. I know we didn't as an offensive lineman. I would remember that. But to lose a kid out of our state that's playing that well is fortunate for him, unfortunate for us, because he's a good player. He could help us if he was playing for us. I can tell you that.
He was a senior in 2015, and you were going to Georgia, so maybe that just kind of. Hey, also, I know it's far from ideal to move true freshman receivers to DB in the middle of the season. That's not exactly a scenario you want to draw. But do you get a sense those guys are excited and enthusiastic, and maybe they can bring some energy over there? From that standpoint?
They're really excited, and it's fun to watch. They're getting better, playing faster. They're starting to understand a little bit more. I'm not going to lie to you and say they know everything that's going on, but if we put them between, it's sort of like an offensive lineman. If you put a guard between a tackle and a center that knows what he's doing, they can talk to him, you know, and then let their athletic ability, you know, make plays. I don't know if we're quite there yet with either one of those guys, but I believe after the bye week, I believe that both of them will play football for us. A significant amount, I was going to say, I don't know that for sure, but they're both going to help us this year. And a lot of times you make moves, Bob, and it doesn't work out. These two will work out, and they'll help us this year. They're talented kids. They were good wideouts as well, but they're physical and they're talented, and they want to get on the field. So they're willing to do the extra to do that. I really like them. I liked them at wideout. I like them over at the DB spot too.
Thanks.
Tom?
What's your psychological approach been with the team this week? Because with all the injuries, I think guys can maybe get it in their head, oh man, we're down. What's your approach been with them?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, we set very similar a year ago, having lost 3 in a row, and or lower than low because we had lost to Auburn, which we thought going into the game that certainly that we had a great opportunity to win the game. We started slow, they started fast, we caught back up, you know, the game. So there's some similarities. We rolled up our sleeve, believed in each other. And, you know, I don't know what it was, I guess 4 of the last 5 games. And so we've painted this, we've done it to ourselves. But you got 2 choices. You either rally the troops. Now, some of that has been a little bit different of how we've practiced this week. We have to start the game. You know, we are waiting right now. And that's not fair to the kids, but we're not starting fast, and we need to. We need to get some early emotion, and that could happen with you know, scoring early, getting a 3 and out, something like that we haven't done over the last 2 weeks. And so we're talking a lot about that. We're practicing different. Basically, we're practicing a little bit like you would, like I did when I was in high school, and we're going good on good right after Indy, and we're doing that. We did that Monday. We did do it Tuesday. We're going to do it again today, and just kind of continue about when the whistle blows, we've got to play. When, you know, we don't have time to wait around. So that's been a little bit of a change this week. But, you know, you always worry. I'm long-winded here, Tom, but you always worry about your team when they lose, you know, and when we lose. But I don't think we have a confidence problem. Certainly we're not overconfident, you know, but I don't think you worry about a psychological, do you believe in each other, confidence, all those things you worry about. I don't think that's the case. We're trying to figure out the why, you know, and we've got several reasons of why, and one of them was me and our coaches, and we've got to continue to get better. And some of it is, you know, turning the ball over and things of that nature, and not converting and not tackling and some of those things. So we know the why. We just got to practice better to cure the problem. And I think that includes the coaches. We're in this thing. We got in this thing together, and we'll get out of it together. And that's kind of what it's been this week.
And just to check off this box, KJ's cleared everything he needs to clear to be full go. And
yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how sharp has he been? You know, like
very
playing fast.
Very. I mean, we had a 2-minute drill before the half yesterday, and sharp. And so our kicker kicked well, kicked both field goals right there with the 1s and the 2s, and it went well. But KJ's he's you don't know that he missed last week, to be honest with you. He looks good.
Trey.
Yeah, Coach, you guys are in the evaluation period. I was wondering if you're getting out to Utah or any of that region, or if you're going to hit some other area this weekend.
Trey, we're not. We have been doing that, but this game is a really important game to us, and not that all of them aren't, but I just wanted to keep the coaches and the players intact, and everybody was at every meeting and all those things. So no, we're not. The great thing is we're off next week, so we'll have an opportunity to get everybody out, including myself. But this week, no, we decided we're going to go up there as a team and stay together the whole time. And not that you can't win games doing it the other way. I just decided, hey, let's nobody goes out this week. Let's all get on the plane, go together, and hopefully we can get a win.
I know there's no whining about the schedule or anything, but with the only game that you guys have at home in October is Alabama. That was October 1st. Y'all had a lot of great recruits in for that one, but I guess the next home game is November 5th, I think. Is that difficult with having that long a stretch, not being able to bring in recruits? Well,
yes, I think it is. We were aware of that, obviously, when the season started. So we tried to, pile as many as we could in here in the month of September. We had 11 o'clock game, so we didn't have quite as many recruits as normally when you get a night game or an afternoon game. But yeah, it makes it difficult, especially, to be perfectly honest with you, when you lose some games, it's and you're not able to get the kids back in the fold and let them know, hey, everything's going to be okay and all those things. If you're losing, it's probably, to be honest with you, worse not to have a home game than if you're winning, because if you're losing, you need to get back in front of them, and get them on campus and be reassuring and things of that nature. And that's what's probably the worst part, Trey, is you go basically the month of October and you don't get to see them.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys, have a good day.